Stop trying to kill it. You can't. Every time you tell yourself, this is the last time, tomorrow I'll be clean, tomorrow I'll be free, you are lying. Not because you're weak, but because you are fighting a war you were never meant to win. Lust doesn't die. It doesn't fade. It doesn't care how many cold showers you take, how many apps you delete, how many promises you make at 3 a.m. when the shame is so heavy you can't sleep. You have tried everything. You have fasted. You have prayed. You have joined the forums. You have counted the days like a prisoner scratching marks on a cell wall. And it's still there. Because you can't beat lust. You never could. And the people who told you that you could, they lied. Not on purpose, but they lied. They told you lust is the enemy, that real men have control, that if you just had more discipline, more faith, more strength, you'd be free. But here's what they didn't tell you. The fight is the trap. Every time you resist, you give it more power. Every time you say no, you make it louder. Every time you fail, you carve the shame deeper into your bones. You are not broken. You are just trying to kill the thing that keeps you alive. You know the cycle. You wake up. You feel good. You feel clean. You tell yourself, today is different. Today, I'm in control. And for a few hours, maybe a few days, you are. You avoid the triggers. You stay busy. You keep your mind sharp. But then it comes. A thought. A flash. A feeling in your chest. And you try to push it down. You try to focus. You try to pray it away. You try to just breathe. But it grows. It sits in your stomach. It crawls up your spine. It whispers in your ear. And you fight it. You fight it so hard. You clench your fists. You close your eyes. You tell yourself, I'm stronger than this. But you're not fighting lust. You're fighting yourself. And nobody wins a war against themselves. So you give in. And for a moment, just a moment, it feels like relief. Like finally taking a breath after holding it too long. But then the shame comes. And it's heavier than the desire ever was. You sit there in the dark, in the silence, and you think, I'm disgusting. I'm weak. I'm broken. I'll never be free. And the worst part? You believe it. You have been told that lust is a sin, a weakness, a stain on your soul. You have been told that good men don't struggle with this, that strong men have control. So every time you fail, you think it's proof. Proof that you're not good, not strong, not enough. But let me tell you something. Every saint who ever lived, every monk, every prophet, every man who built something that mattered, they didn't win by killing their desire. They didn't beat lust. They learned to ride it. You think you're the only one fighting this? You're not. You think you're the only one who has tried and failed and tried again? You're not. The difference between you and the men you admire isn't that they don't have desire. It's that they stopped fighting it. They stopped trying to be clean. They stopped trying to be good. They took the fire inside them, the same fire that burns you, and they aimed it. They didn't kill the flame. They built with it. Here's what nobody tells you. Lust is not the enemy. Shame is. Lust is just fire. And fire doesn't care if you're pure. It doesn't care if you're disciplined. It just burns. You can try to snuff it out. You can try to bury it. You can try to starve it. But fire doesn't die when you ignore it. It just burns underground. And eventually, it burns you from the inside. The people who told you to resist, they meant well, but they were wrong. Because resistance is not strength. Resistance is fear. Every time you resist, you are telling yourself, this thing inside me is bad. This thing inside me is wrong. I have to fight it. or it will destroy me. But what if it's not trying to destroy you? What if it's trying to wake you up? Lust might be a sin, but it's also a life force. It's the same energy that makes you want to build, to create, to conquer, to love, to live. It's the same energy that gets you out of bed, that makes you chase something, that makes you feel alive. The ancient world knew this. The Taoists called it Jing. The alchemists called it the prima materia. The Greeks called it eros. They didn't call it evil. They called it power. And they knew that power, when wasted, destroys you. But when aimed, when channeled, when transmuted, it makes you unstoppable. You have been wasting your power, not because you're weak, but because nobody taught you how to use it. They taught you to fight it, to resist it, to kill it. But you can't kill fire. You can only aim it. Think about the last time you gave in. What happened after? You felt tired, empty, numb, like you had just burned all your fuel on nothing. Because you did. You took the most potent energy you have, the energy that could have built something, created something, moved something, and you threw it into a void. And the void gave you nothing back. That's why you feel empty. Not because lust is bad, but because you're burning rocket fuel in a trash can. Now think about the times you didn't give in. Not because you were resisting, but because you were busy. Because you were working on something that mattered. Because you were so deep in creation, in flow, in building, that the desire never even came. That's what transmutation is. It's not fighting the fire, it's aiming it. Every great artist, every builder, every man who left a mark on this world, they had the same fire you do, maybe even more. But they didn't waste it. They poured it into their work. Michelangelo didn't carve David because he was disciplined. He carved it because he had so much fire inside him that if he didn't create, he would have burned alive. Tesla didn't invent the future because he was pure. He did it because he took the energy most men waste and he aimed it at the impossible. You don't need less desire. You need a bigger target. Here's the truth they don't want you to know. The men who beat lust didn't beat it. They became it. They stopped fighting their nature. They stopped trying to be something they're not. They stopped apologizing for the fire inside them. And they burned so bright that the world had no choice but to notice. You think you're addicted to lust? You're not. You're addicted to wasting it. You're addicted to the easy release, the quick escape, the 5-minute high that leaves you empty for 5 hours. But that's not lust. That's avoidance. Real lust, the kind that built empires, wrote symphonies, carved stone into gods, that lust doesn't ask for release. It demands expression. So stop trying to be clean. Stop trying to be good. Stop trying to kill the part of you that refuses to be dead. You are not broken. You are a furnace. And you've been trying to put out the fire instead of feeding it. The next time you feel it rise, don't run to your phone. Don't run to shame. Don't run to the same tired cycle. Run to the page. Run to the weights. Run to the thing you've been too afraid to start. Take that energy, the energy that's burning a hole in your chest, and pour it into something that will outlive you. Because here's the secret. When you start creating, the compulsion fades. Not because you're resisting, but because you're finally feeding the real hunger. The hunger to build. The hunger to matter. the hunger to feel alive. You can't beat lust, but you can become it. You can stop being the man who fights himself every morning, and you can start being the man who aims his fire. Stop calling it a struggle. Stop calling it a weakness. Stop calling it something you need to fix. It's not broken. You are. Because you've been trying to kill the thing that makes you powerful. Lust is not your enemy. Wasting it is. So here's what you do. You take the next 7 days, and every time you feel it, the pull, the urge, the fire, you don't fight it. You don't resist it. You aim it. You write. You lift. You build. You create something that scares you. And watch what happens. Watch how the compulsion fades. Watch how the shame dissolves. Watch how you stop feeling like a slave and start feeling like a force. The world doesn't need more pure men. It needs men who burn, men who create, men who refuse to waste their fire on nothing. You were never meant to be tamed. You were meant to be aimed. Go. Decide what you're going to burn for. And know this. You were never meant to be tamed. You were meant to be aimed. Now type this in the comments. Lust doesn't own me. I just forgot how to aim it. Type it. Own it. Become it.